Hey guys, I had a request from a viewer to do a quick how-to on adjusting the seat height on your Yamaha FJR1300. Now this only applies obviously to those models or those generations that have adjustable height. This is the Generation 3 and I don't have my Generation 2 anymore, but I'm 99.9% certain it was the exact same parts and the same procedure. So this is for sure for Generation 3, and I believe to the best of my knowledge Generation 2 also. You might think it's a dumb video and, you know, a no-brainer if you've done it before. But you know what? The instructions in the manual kind of suck. And if you've never done it before, it can be a little confusing. So this is just a quick how-to for anybody that needs to know. First of all, obviously take off your back seat so you can get your front seat off. This is maybe not so obviously a custom seat. It does not matter what seat you have as long as it's using a stock seat pan. This procedure applies because you're not doing anything with the seat itself. It's what's underneath that counts. So the first thing obviously is to take your seat off. Now all these are delivered in the low position stock. So that's what we have here. That's what I happen to ride in. Let me set this aside. Now you have two parts that you have to change to go from high to low or low to high. The first is this little black piece here. It's a little L-shaped piece of plastic, and I'll show you it close up in a second. And the other is this support bracket here. Now you might not know that this piece pivots up so you can more easily get to your stuff, and you do that by simply popping the back out. And it's like a little trunk flap. It's on hinges, can't take it out, it just sits there. So now it's out of the way and you can get your stuff really easily. And it is simply held in by these little plastic nubs here, and they go right into these rubber grommets. So that's all it does. Now what you see is there are two sets of posts to go into those grommets, and that means this whole thing can slide like that. And what we have to do is put it to one position for high and one position to low. Down here we have an H and we have an L, and then we have a little tab that those little marks align to, and that tells you if this is going to be positioned in the high or low position for the seat. So stock, it's more forward and it's aligned with the L. If you want to go to the high position, the first thing you have to do is slide it back a little bit and pop those second sets of posts down into the grommets, and now it's aligned to the H. So it's in the high position, more towards the rear. What this does is it clears a little bit of space here for this piece here and gives these support tabs a proper alignment. You also have, you'll notice, an H and an L here. You don't do anything with these. These are just telling you that these are the slots for the seat posts. And obviously this is the high and this is the low. Here's the latch here. This is the lever you pull to release from the metal latch. And on the seat, you'll see at the rear of it two sets of holes for that latch. So obviously this is more down, so this is going to be in your high position, and this is in your low position because they're both going to catch on that same latch, and they're going to be at different depths in the bike. So you don't have to do anything with it, that's just what they're for. And then in the high and low position, the seat post itself here is going to rest. And what we have to do now is get the front to also align. Let me bring back the seat. You'll see at the front of the seat you have a tongue. And this tongue is what is supporting the entire front of the seat. Now it goes into a slot that's in one of two positions. This piece right here, you'll see the slot is open and it's in the lower position. So that tongue in the seat goes into the lower position, and that's what obviously supports your seat. What we have to do, this piece here is just held on by friction basically. Just take it and pull it straight back. Just wiggle it off, okay? It's just a little piece of plastic, very strong, you're not going to break it, and you'll just see some tabs. And these are just basically clipping it into place. Down here we have another slot now open, because what we did is we removed this. This was the lower slot that was open, and this was basically a block-off panel. So now there are two slots open, a high and a low position. And what we have to do is now just place this back, covering the bottom slot. And all you have to do is align this lip here in between these tabs here, and it just clips. And that's it. And all that does is block off your bottom slot, and now your top slot is open. So now you put your seat back on just like normal, and it just goes in a little bit higher. Just about an inch overall higher. Top slot, and that's that. So give it a shot, see which position you like better. If you like me, if you have a custom seat, there's going to be one position that is far better than the other. In my case, that's low, so I'm going to put it back. That's all it takes to go back. Take the seat off again. Pull this piece of plastic off. We're going to go back to low, so I'm going to put it to cover the high slot. This is a little bit trickier, just because it's right up against the gas tank here, but it has plenty of clearance. Goes right, snaps back on. Lift this up again. Slide it forward. Now the low is positioned, and put the other set of posts down in the grommets. Put your seat back on. Obviously the tongue is now back into the low slot. That's all there is to it, guys. Hope it helps somebody. Spread the word. Check out the site. We'll see you next time.